opening words are by Lynn Harrison. Committed to respond to the call of a wounded world, we join together this day with loving hearts, hands, and minds, embracing the interconnected web of water, air, and earth. We light a fire of sustaining hope, ever bright with love and justice. May we bring forth this day new wisdom, strength, and courage to create a new world, not of wealth, but well-being. A world of new peace and abundance for all, as we give thanks for this earth, our shared and singular home. May we dedicate ourselves to its ongoing care. Rising to the call deep within us and all around us, may respond today and always with courage and with hope. Welcome to worship this morning. Con espíritu de reverencia, reconocemos que nos juntamos esta mañana en la tierra de los Kumeyaay, quienes continúan viviendo en todo su territorio. Al emprender este viaje juntos, mantengamos en nuestros corazones y mentes el pueblo Kumeyaay.
In a spirit of reverence, we acknowledge that we gather this morning on the land of the Kumeyaay, who continue to live throughout their territories. May the light of this candle shine for our commitment to the Kumeyaay people and to justice and equity for Indigenous people everywhere.
Please rise and bow to your spirit and join in our gathering hymn, number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth.
Good morning and welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of San Diego, where we worship each Sunday in the South Bay, in Hillcrest, and online. Our mission is to create community, nurture spiritual growth, and act on our values to help heal the world. I'm Rhea Coleman, and I use the pronouns she, her, and I'm serving as our worship associate today. This morning, we're honoring Earth Day and are excited to welcome our special guest, Phil Petrie. Phil is an artist and longtime environmental activist. Since moving to San Diego in 2007, he's been especially active in fighting climate change as a founding member of San Diego 350 and of the Interfaith Coalition for Earth Justice, of which he is the co-chair. At St. Paul's Episcopal Cathedral, where he worships, he co-founded a creation care ministry, Simpler Living. Phil lives in Normal Heights with his wife Mary and daughter Sarah. Welcome, Phil. We're so glad you're with us. If you're visiting, I want to extend a special welcome. We invite you to fill out a visitor card in your order of service and return it to the welcome table. If you're joining us online, you can also fill out a visitor card at the link on the live stream page or in the YouTube service description. We'd love to connect with you. If you've been coming for a while and are starting to feel like this is your spiritual home, consider becoming a member of this beloved community. You can learn more about becoming a member at the welcome table or by contacting Valeria Aguilar, our membership coordinator.
Welcome to this space. Bring all of who you are, and all the beauty of languages, cultures, and skin tones that come together in your uniqueness. Welcome here. In all the ways you experience and express gender, you are welcome here. In the beauty that is who you love and how you love, you are welcome here. In all the ways you live and move and experience your embodied self, you are welcome here. With all the religious and ethical traditions that inform your spiritual life, you are welcome here. Join us as we live into our shared values with love at the center. We're so glad you're here.
So we have a few special announcements. Lay ministers are available after the service to offer a listening presence. If you have a joy or sorrow you'd like to share this morning's lay minister is Melinda Holbein. Melinda, where? There you are. Oh, right in front. Okay. If you'd like to learn more about us and see some of the many gems of our campus, I encourage you to take a campus tour after the service. Today, Liz Jones will meet you right here after the postlude and be your guide. This is the last day to submit an event for our amazing Dining for Dollars auction. Our auction is not only a fundraiser, but an important way we build community and have fun together. Plan to host an event or two, and then plan to bid on several. Bidding starts tomorrow. You'll find all of the information you need on the Dining for Dollars webpage under the Giving tab. Now I have a couple climate justice announcements, and I'd like to thank my co-chair of the Climate Justice Group, Armin Coleman. We have wonderful news. We now have a water bottle filler with filtered water. Yay. Hopefully, this will be the last of our having to use plastic water bottles at this church. And now another announcement. The current onslaught of federal attacks on democracy, immigration, and the environment has made many of us feel powerless in our work for positive change. But we live in a state with the 5th largest economy in the world. And California has been a national and world leader in fighting climate change. We invite you to stop by the Climate Justice table on the patio after the service to learn how you can make a difference on the state and local level in fighting climate change.
Invite you again to rise in body or spirit and join in our church hymn, and then we'll follow that with our church aspiration in both English and Spanish. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, and to help one another in fellowship. This is our aspiration. Que el amor sea la doctrina de esta iglesia, la búsqueda de la verdad su sacramento y el servicio su oración. Vivir juntos en paz, buscar la verdad con libertad, y ayudarnos mutuamente en comunidad. A eso aspiramos.
Good morning, friends. I'd like to invite any of the children and youth who would like to come up and join me for our time for all ages. Good morning. Oh, you brought a book too? Should we use mine or yours? Let's see. Let's use mine today. Good morning. Good morning. So, friends, today we're thinking about climate justice. And you know, that's kind of a big way to say thinking about ways that we can help out the earth and make the earth a more healthy and more sustainable place for all of us to live for a long, long, long time. And so the story we have today is actually a song that we're going to sing later after you all leave, but I wanted you to hear the words. This is called "The Tide is Rising, So Are We." Everywhere the oceans rise, you and I will organize, standing up and speaking out. Climate justice is our shout. The tide is rising, and so are we. And this is where we are called to be. As drops of water form a wave, we form a movement strong and brave to fight the greed that threatens life and build a world where all can thrive. The task is mighty, so are we, and this is where we are called to be. The earth sings out, "You're not alone. I'm here, my loves. It's time. Come home to beast and fungi, fish and tree. For all who live are family." The land is holy. So are we. And this is where we are called to be. The rains pour down. The fires blaze. In floods, in droughts, in hurricanes, the weather is the planet's voice. She's warning, make a better choice. The storm is raging, so are we, and this is where we are called to be. The sun bestows his heat and might, a boundless energy and light. Our hearts burn too, with love and care, with strength to heal, renew, repair. The sun is shining, so are we, and this is where we are called to be. In cities, forests, coasts, and farms, We build our power, link our arms. Immune cells of the earth, we rise, one giant swelling enterprise. The world is ready, so are we, and this is where we are called to be. Our ancestors and sages teach that wisdom is within our reach. They gift us with their grit and grace to guide us through the darkest place. The fights are hard, our odds are slim. Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win. The hero is the one who tries. Our hearts may break, but still we rise. The tide is rising, so are we, and this is where we are called to be. The end. Thank you, friends. Well, I hope you enjoyed that story, and I'm so glad that you're called to be here with me this morning, because I think this is right where we're called to be. So if you could help me up here, we're going to stand up, and we're going to lead the congregation in our affirmation. We'll say it first in English and then in Spanish. We are Unitarian Universalists, a people of open minds, loving hearts, and welcoming hands. Somos unitarios, universalistas, personas de mentes abiertas, corazones amorosos, y manos que dan la bienvenida. Friends, I'm going to stay here today, so I'm going to invite you to follow Miss Kate and meet your other leaders out on the patio for your groups.
A reading from the Bhagavata Purana. One day, when Balarama and the other little sons of the cowherds were playing, they reported to his mother, "Krishna has eaten dirt." Yasoda took Krishna by the hand and scolded him for his own good. And she said to him, seeing that his eyes were bewildered with fear, "Naughty boy, why have you secretly eaten dirt?" Krishna said, "Mother, I have not eaten. They are all lying. If you think they speak the truth, look at my mouth yourself. If that is the case, then open your mouth." She then saw in his mouth the whole eternal universe, the heaven and the regions of the sky, and the orbit of the earth with its mountains, islands, and oceans. She saw the wind and lightning, and the moon and stars, and the zodiac, and water and fire and air and space itself. She saw the vacillating senses, the mind, the elements, the three strands of matter. She saw within the body of her son, in his gaping mouth, the whole universe in all its variety, with all the forms of life and time and nature and action and hopes, and her own village and herself.
Please remain seated as we sing our meditation song, number 1069, Ancient Mother.
Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient
I invite you to join me in a time of meditation. I invite you to find the most comfortable position for your body that it will allow today. If it feels good, you might close your eyes or lower your gaze. And begin by connecting to the breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. The breath that comes in and out of our bodies sustains all life. It connects us to all beings, present and past. Connect to that life-sustaining force that enlivens your body. Breathing in and breathing out. Feel your body in this space. Perhaps where the chair or wherever you're sitting is holding you and making contact with your body. Perhaps you feel your feet where they make contact with the earth. Notice all the ways that the earth sustains you in this very moment. If it feels right to you, you might say, thank you. Thank you to the earth. Thank you to the sky. Thank you to the air and the water and the fire. Thank you to the mountains and the ocean and all the beings of the more than human world. And as you continue to breathe, just take a few moments to listen, to hear what the earth is calling out to you. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I feel your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. Blessed be.
is rising, and so are we. The tide is rising, and so are we. The tide is rising, and so are we. This is where we are called to be. This is where we are called to be. The land is holy, and so are we. The land is holy, and so are we. The land is holy, and so are we. This is where we are called to be. This is where we are called to be. The task is mighty, and so are we. The task is mighty, and so are we. The task is mighty, and so are we. This is where we are called to be. This is where we are called to be. The tide is rising, and so are we. The tide is rising, and so are we. The tide is rising, and so are we. This is where we are called to be. This is where we are called to be.
Good morning. So, firstly, I want to thank Rhea Coleman, the Climate Justice Task Force, Reverend Kristen, and all of you for inviting me to give this Earth Day sermon this morning, and for choosing the Interfaith Coalition for Earth Justice as a recipient of your generosity offering for April and May. We are very honored. We are a small local organization, and our mantra is that we seek to educate, equip, and mobilize faith communities to take action on the environmental crisis. We believe deeply that the environmental crisis is in fact a spiritual crisis, and that persons of faith must be at the table in working to solve it. First UU has had a long relationship with San Diego 350, who is our sister org, and also no small part in launching ICEJ, a shout out to James Long. So I am very glad to be here, and glad to see some familiar faces as well. So pivoting to this reading, I like big picture stuff, and that is the approach I will take on talking on this reading from the Bhagavata Purana. And let me be clear, first of all, that I am no scholar of Hinduism, so I do not approach this talk, from that perspective. Instead, I want to riff on an aspect of the story which relates to something that I have been thinking about a lot. I heard this story years ago in Chicago, and it made an enormous impression on me. What happens in it is so unexpected, so unusual. We start with a very ordinary occurrence, a child eating dirt. The other children tattle, and the mother Yasoda is concerned that Krishna, her adopted child, might get sick. Krishna, who is rather mischievous, often eating what he shouldn't eat, lies about the dirt, but offers to open his mouth so that Yasoda can check for herself. Here it is important to know that Krishna is the 8th avatar of Vishnu, one of the supreme gods in the Hindu pantheon. He is divine with all the magical powers that divinity suggests. Whether he plays a trick on his mother by showing her the entire universe when she looks inside his mouth, or whether as a god the universe is simply inside him, is not explained. But needless to say, Yasoda forgets all about the dirt. She has a moment of intense enlightenment when she is confronted by the unity of everything that exists. She even realizes that the eye is an illusion, that at the deepest level, everything is one. And we didn't hear that kind of enlightenment part. I shortened it. Just after this, Krishna/Vishnu wipes this insight, or at least the memory of this experience, out of her mind. But I suspect, as with all visionary experience, that something lingers. She embraces her boy, who is also her God, with even greater love than before. So, where am I going with this? What I want to do here is draw a connection between the dirt that little Krishna eats and the vision that his mother Yasoda has, and suggest something radical. We might normally see dirt as the lowest form of matter. We call things dirty after all, and we spend a lot of time cleaning the dirt off of our cars, in our homes, off of our bodies. And vision transformation as a very high form, perhaps the highest state of existence. But I want to suggest that these terms are not contradictory, but complementary. If Krishna did not eat the dirt, his mother would never have had her vision. And here's where I want to link to the environmental crisis that we are right smack in the middle of. I suspect that all of us know that our rapacious appetite for resources to create ever more consumer goods is the chief driver of the environmental crisis around the globe, including climate change. And all this connects with the Industrial Revolution and our technological power to extract that energy and those resources. All of this is true and very, very important. But there is another piece here, which is that our science and technology and the human-made world they have enabled have distanced us from the earth, from the dirt. For most of the existence of Homo sapiens, we were deeply tethered to the earth. We lived within nature, not on top of it. Now, though, we spend much of our time in a human-made world, both the physical human-made world, our buildings, roads, infrastructure, etc., and the digital human-made world of our electronics. Kids in the developed world spend so much time in this digital zone and away from nature that we can actually talk about nature deficit disorder. I believe this turn away from Earth, from nature, has left us ungrounded, alienated, increasingly incapable of true visionary experience. And by the way, I will not try to prove this. I'm not a sociologist, I'm not even a philosopher, and it would take too long, so I hope you will just indulge me. Hear me out and you can come to your own conclusions. I think that when we lose the connection to the earth, we lose part of what we essentially are. And to use a machine analogy, are then not firing on all cylinders. Oddly enough, our technology, just when it gives us enormous power over nature, also makes us smaller, makes us into reduced versions of what a human being should be. I believe perhaps more than anything, this smallness, this reduced scope is driving our current politics. So how do we get out of this mess? Well, firstly, to address the environmental crisis and specifically climate change, we must transition to clean energy. That is the first order of business. But that by itself is not enough. I believe we need to create a new civilization that is grounded in nature and nature structures and rhythms. I like to say that we need to live within nature, not on top of it. I think I've said that twice now. It's something I'm fond of. And that goes for everything, including our economy. For way, way too long, economists have put the economy up here and only measured its impacts on the natural world as collateral damage, if at all. And this has gotten us into the crisis we are now in. This particular model is not working. Rather, our economy too, and every one of our economic decisions should take account of the impact on the environment, looking as far into the future as we can. Seventh generation thinking. And that seventh generation thinking, which we borrow from indigenous peoples, brings me to another point. There is enormous wisdom in indigenous traditions and cultures that we need to integrate into the best of our Western scientific culture. We need a new fusion of the two. I will not pretend to know that I know exactly what that will look like, but I believe deeply it is where we need to go. Human beings at our best are enormously creative. At the same time, we can fail to see how our civilizational structures are not timeless. They are a product of history, geography, and yes, climate. They can and do change, and they must do so again. This is what Joanna Macy calls the Great Turning, and it will be complicated, it will be messy, and we may not pull it off, but we have to try. And it is also exciting, especially to the young who love to remake things. To do this successfully, we have to be as grounded in nature in the non-human world as we can be. And that means lots of little personal changes. So, the four I have to offer now are simple. And after 3 of these, I'm going to outline an event that ICJ is involved with. So, the first one is get your hands in the dirt. Garden. There is a wisdom in the earth, in getting close to it, in getting the dirt under your fingernails. We tend to scour our fingernails. It is considered gauche to have dirt there, part of our fastidiousness about dirt in general. Wouldn't it be a fascinating world if at a party someone said to you, "Your fingernails are so clean. Are you okay?" So last fall, ICJ started a program that we're calling Hands in the Soil. And essentially what this is we're acting as middle persons for volunteer organizations that are already doing, say, beach cleanups or eco-farm work or planting trees, and then linking those opportunities to persons of faith, people in faith communities. So far, it's mostly been us chickens in the ICJ working group that have done these work opportunities. But what we would really like to see, I think the next step with this really, is to have particular faith communities adopt, say, a Saturday morning, 9 to 11, and then we will set up the opportunity and folks go work and do a work detail. I've gone twice now to Eco Farm, which is up in North County, and I'll tell you, they make you work. You work up there. So I guess you'd have to sort of self-judge if you're ready for some heavy physical labor. But the beach cleanups, of course, as you probably know, you've probably all been to some of those. Those are a lighter thing. So I'm hoping maybe First UU will get involved in some of that. Maybe you already do this, in which case you don't need us. You don't need ICJ to set that up. But if not, maybe we can discuss that further. I will just quickly say that our next Hands in the Soil thing is actually not a work detail, but it's next Saturday on the 19th. And it's basically just sort of promoting this project. It's Project New Village, this organization, Project New Village, that works with communities of concern in the Mount Hope Community Garden. And they're having an Earth Day celebration with face painting and farming, showing some gardening opportunities and this and that. Lots of good stuff from 9 to 1 p.m. So we're just getting the word on that and trying to facilitate getting people there. There will be more on all of these activities on this handout that's out in the courtyard. Okay, secondly, back to these personal things to do. Take walks. And when you walk, really look around you. So maybe don't put your earbuds in or, have your phone, put your phone in your pocket or keep it at home. Really look around you at the sky. There is a wisdom, too, in the sky, just as there is in the earth. At the trees and plants. At the 7-Eleven. Our human things can tell us some things, too. Deep vision starts with looking, just as it did for Yasota. So, a thing that ICEJ is doing the following ICEJ, the following Saturday, is something we're calling Bearing Witness, where a border runs through. It's a walk and blessing of the Tijuana River estuary. So we're going to meet down there. Again, the information's on that handout, and we would love to have you join us for that. It should be a lovely opportunity just to kind of walk, see the river, bless it, and go our separate ways. 3, spend less time on your screens. And if you have children or grandchildren, of course you probably don't quite have maybe you don't have the authority to do this with your grandchildren, but you can lean on your kids to place clear limits on screen time if they don't already. This may be hard. Frankly, most of us are in some way addicted to our screens. But take small steps to reduce your screen use and always be ready to forgive yourself when you fail. This is never about beating yourself up. It is about being as fully you as you can be. And I don't have an action on that, particularly from ICJ. Fourth, engage directly in earth justice work, which broadly understood is working to create the better civilization that I mentioned before. So I have 2 things on this. I think Ria said in your bulletin this morning is a flyer on the climate march that San Diego 350 is the main mover on, but lots of orgs are involved with putting together. So that's May 3rd, 11 a.m., meeting at Waterfront Park. Please do come out for that. We need to bang on the drum, make some noise, show that we're deeply, deeply concerned about climate and about this administration and its, what can I say, terrible, terrible actions on climate, on pretty much just about everything. I'm going to say that ICJ will have a contingent there. And what we're going to do, we have this cardboard coffin that we built for bank protests to honor the climate dead. So we're going to carry that cardboard coffin. We're going to dress in black. We're going to have signs about the climate fatalities. We haven't done this for about a year, so unfortunately, we have to have new signs to catch up. Anyway, we would love to have folks from First UU join us in that contingent. So I'll be talking to Ria about that, and we'll see what we can put together. Okay, the second thing is the Make Polluters Pay campaign. Again, this is something not only 350, but environmental orgs and other orgs too, across California are really getting behind. There's actually 2 very similar, I'm told, versions of the bill in the California Senate and the Assembly. And this bill is now moved out of its first committee, and it's in the Judiciary Committee. And what we need to do is lean on the members of that committee to make sure it gets out. I'm not going to describe it in great depth. Essentially what this Make Polluters Pay does is evaluate who are the biggest the biggest fossil fuel polluters, okay? And then levy a fee on those that would go into a climate super fund, and that money would be dispersed to communities that are directly impacted by climate change and so forth, perhaps by the fires, things like that. So this hopefully will get through this year, but not without all of us doing our bit. So please do what you can to make that happen. So, to close, I hope all this is giving you something to think about and hopefully to act on. And let me be clear, there are many great things about the scientific technological civilization that evolved out of Europe and the West. We do not need to throw the baby out with the bathwater. However, the unbridled capitalist part of our civilization has destroyed much of our planet and oppressed people around the globe, especially people of color. And we have become arrogant, as destroyers almost always are. We need to return to the earth, work in it, learn from it, let it ground our vision so that we can be more fully the human beings we were meant to be. Thank you.
Our generosity offering this morning is for the Interfaith Coalition for Earth Justice. The work they do, Phil has talked about it, and what's so wonderful is that it's all the faith traditions working together. And this is really a cause worth supporting. So with that, we'll have our generosity offering.
So you can give through text to give at 619-333-3040. The number's on the screen. You can also donate in person. There are places you can go in the back with cash or check. And as always, you can also donate online at the church's website, firstuusandiego.org. Thank you so much for your generosity. This morning's offering will now be gratefully received. rise in body or spirit and join in our closing hymn, number 1064, Blue Boat Home. May we go forth remembering that we are part of the earth. Let us get our hands in the dirt and be open to the wisdom there. And may that wisdom call us into loving action in the world to make this place, our home, sustainable for generations to come. Blessed be, and go in peace.